Hi, Stu here from Ital Corsa Asia. Welcome back to the channel. I want to spend some time this week to talk about the development of kids and some of the phases that they're going to go through to try and set you as a parent up for what's most likely to happen. So here's a couple of things. When kids start out, sometimes parents will come to the track, they'll see some of the more experienced kids flying around the track, with incredible precision and speed, and they see their kid and it's like, oh, my kid is so slow. Don't worry about it. All kids start slow, right? And some kids start faster than others, but actually don't develop as quickly. It's been my experience that some of the kids that have started slowest have been much more thoughtful. They are much more in tune with the kart. They have much greater kart empathy. And what you'll see is very early on, they won't actually be that fast. But what you'll find is there's a crossover point where some kids that are simply braver and crazier than others will simply go out faster than their fellow kids. And sometimes that make you feel very good. But those ones there, I always look at we're probably going to have to spend a lot more time on coaching with those kids because they're often less thoughtful or have maybe less empathy with the kart itself. So don't be concerned on day one if your kid's not fast. And don't try and beat your kid up or try and, say, hey, you have to go faster, you have to push faster, etc. Sure, encourage them, make it fun. But be super careful as a parent what you actually do because I think in some ways you can actually hold the kids back by too much pressure at that point. Let them feel confident, let them know that you're backing them, and it will be much better. Now, you'll find that there'll be some very distinct phases. Track times and the crunchy track was always a great example. Initially kids would be more than 1 minute per lap. Right, maybe 1 minute 15, and then they get a little bit faster, etc. And at some point they jump down to 59 seconds. They get below 1 minute. It's a big development phase. And then there's another one at about 56, 57 seconds, and then there's another one at 54, 52, and then the grind from 52 down towards the track record, is all in tenths of a second here and there. They tend to make much slower progress in terms of things like track times. But don't get too hung up on that. What you have to do is certainly work with the coach, work with the team, really understand, because if the kids are developing well, we tend to focus on the skills. If they can get their braking right, if they can get their cornering right, if they can get their acceleration point, if they can hit the apex, if they can do some of these things, we're never concerned if they're not the fastest kid on the track on day one. All right, so if we make the kids good, they will be fast. If we make them fast, they won't always be good, right? And so it's really about making sure that we can get that balance right. The second one is be prepared for these plateaus, right? If your kid is racing or practicing and then they get down to 54 seconds, and you're like, wow, we got from 57 down to 54, made huge progress, it's great. And then you could spend 3, 4, 5 months at that speed before they'll suddenly make this other jump to 52 seconds. So just be a little bit prepared. Every kid's a bit different. Be prepared. These plateaus are real. Don't beat the kids up over it. If you stress them out over it, I've watched the kids go back the other way and they'll actually get slower. So make sure that you're there to support, let the coach do their work. They'll get you through these phases as quickly as possible. So a couple of other phases that tend to happen. The kids tend to start initially very cautious. It's a scary thing, sitting in this go-kart, it's moving very fast, there's walls, there's things you can hit, and they start off very nervous and that's very normal. Every kid starts with no experience, so if you think your kid, oh, my kid has no experience, don't worry. All the kids that start with us, almost always come in with no experience. We're very used to it, and we have a process that we take them through in order to build up those skills. But what you really want to do is again, you'll find there'll be this phase where they go from being very cautious, they get a bit faster, and then they go through somewhat of an accident-prone phase. And it's really when they're going from, I got faster to the point where I probably was beyond my skill level. And what they have to do is move through these dangerous phases, not dangerous, damaging phases, where they have a habit of banging carts into things. They'll bang other people, they'll bang into walls, because they're pushing and they're learning where the limits are. Now, my recommendation to you as a parent, and this is going to be hard, you'd be ready for this. I'm going to tell you, you need to suck it up. What I mean by that is, bravery cannot be taught. Bravery can be taken away, but it cannot be taught. We can teach everything else. But if your kid is getting brave and they're starting to go faster and they hit something, if you go and say to them, oh, you cost me all this money and you banged the cart and you should be more careful, and if you do that, you will take away bravery and you'll watch your kid go backwards very quickly. That it's very hard to do, and we certainly try and minimize this phase, but I've seen this phase time and time again the kids go through, where they go through and they're going to hit a few things, and they're going to bend a tie rod, and they're going to bend a steering column, and it's going to cost a little bit of money. But I guarantee you, support them, encourage them, make sure the kids are okay. Are you hurt? Is everything all right? No, mom, no, dad, I'm not hurt, I'm fine. Okay, not a problem. We'll get the cart fixed. Let's get you back out on the track and make sure everything's okay. Know that they've got your support. That if they get to a limit and they go over that limit, they've got your support. If they don't have your support because you're saying, oh, I'm going to take that out of your pocket money, or I'm going to beat you up, then what will happen is the kids become scared and they go backwards quickly, and it takes us a long time to try and get people back through that phase. So there'll be a few times when you're going to need to step back and just be a little bit quiet, support the kids, make sure they're okay, and we'll minimize that phase, get them through that, and then their skill catches up to their bravery, they're able to move forward. So, and that's the bit that we all look for. We really hope that will happen. So I'll talk a little bit more about, sort of development phases with respect to things like racing and things like that in another video, but I hope this just gives you some idea of what you're probably going to go through. It takes time. Don't expect your kid to be a Formula One driver on the first day. It's not going to happen. And if they're that crazy fast, they're probably just crazy, right? And what you want to do, just support them, get the skills, get them through. I hope it's been valuable. If you like the video, hit the like and the share button with anyone you think might benefit from this. If you have questions you'd like me to answer, leave them in the comments below, and we'll try and do that on behalf of Ital Corsa Asia. Thanks very much.